they can. Let's turn to our distinguished guests. We have Sandra Smith, co-host of America Reports, and Steve Forbes, Forbes Media Chairman and Editor-in-Chief and author of Inflation, What It Is, Why It's Bad, and How to Fix It. All right, kids, welcome to you, Sandra.
I just came for the show. That was therapeutic.
I just want to say, I know you were the one that sent me the Times story this morning. Maybe I should read the Times more often, maybe not. But the reality is, it annoyed me. They didn't put any numbers in. I mean, you know, if Trump had such a low, his inflation rate, 1.6% for the whole 4-year period. And here's Joe Biden with Biden inflation. And you can't even go to Wendy's or McDonald's and buy yourself a hamburger without seeing the price jacked up. I mean, I don't know why this reporter didn't put any of that stuff in. What's the evidence?
I hope you're not hungry, by the way,
What's
from
the
like
evidence?
noon to 2, because that's when the spike's going to be.
That's it.
You might want to change your lunch hour to 2 o'clock. I think that's a fascinating story, though. New York Post put it on their cover today. I mean, that's
the Wendy's story.
That's interesting, right? That's businesses having to deal with an incredibly uncertain environment. What's the worst thing for business? Uncertainty, right? This is what we are living under this administration. Larry, you're the one who's kind of been saying the economy's not so bad, but I'm looking at right now, the average American family is spending the largest chunk of their disposable income on food, whether in a restaurant or the grocery store, than in over 30 years.
Yep.
So it's a great economy if you're not buying a car, selling a house, or going grocery shopping or eating out at restaurants. I mean, those high prices are here to stay. And when you dig through that New York Times article, the White House is not primarily responsible for controlling inflation. No, they're responsible for running inflation up to levels that this country has never seen. Those prices have not come down. So if you want to know why people are still so sour on the economy, when there are metrics pointing to some positive developments, it's because people just aren't taking home as much cash.
Look, GDP is strong. It's being driven a lot by government, but people can't afford to live in the Biden economy. That's the problem. I mean, GDP numbers are coming in strong. Tremendous consumer stimulus from government spending. But you're right. All the things you say is right, which I've repeated a million times. Affordability is low. Real wages are falling. That's the Achilles heel.
And the U.S. stock market is priced in dollars, right? And so if you have less buying power, even though you might see your 401k going up, that dollar's not going as far.
But Steve Forbes, why are tax cuts and deregulation going to cause higher inflation? If Trump wins, I would expect to see him. He's said this a million times. He will make the tax cuts permanent, maybe build on the tax cuts. He's going to continue the deregulation. How could drill, baby, drill, putting more oil in play, be inflationary? That was the part about the New York Times I didn't understand. The same policies, how's that going to raise inflation? The guy didn't have any inflation in his term.
It raises inflation because Trump would be president. Anything he does is bad.
Is bad. All right.
The sun's not going to come up anymore. We're going to have plagues, parasites, and beetles all over the place. So the fact of the matter is, you hit it in your introduction. Fact of the matter is, if you have a stable dollar, which you used to call king dollar, if you have lower taxes, which is a price, tax rates, which is a price on productive work, risk-taking, and success, you lower that burden, guess what happens? The economy prospers. And one of the things that's killing the economy today with this modern socialism is the unending avalanche of new regulations.
Right.
Particulates and the like. Where did they ever get the congressional approval to ban the internal combustion engine? They didn't, but they're doing it anyway. Everything that makes life good, they're against. And that's where the Republicans hit home on.
Remember what you said a couple years ago with Biden, regulatory inflation.
Modern socialism.
Very important. You don't have to buy the means of production. You don't have to buy the steel mills. You're doing it through government regulations. And that's what the New York Times and so many people do not understand that. You nailed this actually probably 3 years ago. And I want to add one other thing. Trump and the dollar. Trump was always keen. This is something people didn't understand. He wants the dollar to remain the world's reserve currency. He looks at that in terms of making America great. He doesn't want people are saying Trump wants a low dollar. We never had that problem with him. I know he would critical the Fed, but the fact remains he wanted the dollar. He's going to go back to deregulation. He's going to go back to drill, baby, drill. He's going to go back to the tax cuts. How the heck can that be inflationary? Sandra Smith, how can that be inflationary?
The New York Times almost ignores the Trump pitch to address regulations and deregulate. It finally brings it up in one of the final paragraphs. If there's one way Trump could reduce inflation, it could be through deregulation. A few Republican economists tell the writer of the piece. Businesses facing less red tape might pass their cost savings along to consumers.
There you go.
I think that's somebody who might need an economics 101 class. Yes, of course that'll be passed along.
8-1. By the way, what's your favorite thing on the Wendy's menu? And what
I have not been since Baton Rouge when I was at school.
When you had breakfast there yesterday, how was the congestion pricing is what I
think
call
they have good chili on the menu, I hear.
Somebody else said that to me.
I don't know.
Chili. It wouldn't even occur to me to buy chili. It could be that someone's now saying it's good in my ear. I don't know who that
Ice cream, they have a good ice cream cone?
Possibly.
I'm going to plead the Fifth Amendment on
can we just,
Wendy's.
before, I know we're running out of time, play Rich Lowry's quote from yesterday's show, the editor-in-chief of National Review. Here, just quick, real play this. Is it true you were cited at McDonald's over the weekend and that your whole cash wad was blown?
McDonald's drive-through, 2 orders of large fries and a large shake, $17. I love McDonald's. I think it's one of the great institutions of American life. It's the first time ever in my life I've gone to McDonald's and felt ripped off.
There's no way he's eating 2 large fries.
$17, Sandra. $17. Now, how come that wasn't in the New York Times story? You know what that's called? Can I help you on this?
What?
Bidenflation.
There you go.
There you go.
I was shocked in the Wendy's article that I guess a Dave's single, is that a burger? Okay, $5.99. But they're here in Times Square, $8.19. Who's paying $10 for a burger from Wendy's?
And this is where the modern socialism is really going to take a toll. California, they're raising the minimum wage for restaurant workers to $22. What do you think that's going to do to food for people who can't afford fancy restaurants?
I'll tell you,
raise their cost of living.
You are 1,000% right. David Malpass was here, sitting where Sandra's sitting, a week or 10 days ago, saying exactly the same thing. The Bidens, look, they are spending way too much, okay? But the regulatory inflation is massive. 'Cause, among other things, it stops the flow of goods production. So you have too much money chasing too few goods. So the GDP is strong, but the inflation continues. You can't afford to live in the Biden economy. That's why his numbers are so bad.
It'll be interesting where gas prices are on Memorial Day, don't you think?
Well, the slogan should be, bring back the dishwasher. Remember when they washed dishes?
Bring back the dishwasher. Bring back the wood stove. Bring back some, I don't know, wooden stove pizza. I don't eat much pizza either. Steve Forbes, Sandra Smith.
Just salad, right?
Please don't. You can watch Sandra every day with her co-host John Roberts on America Reports. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. I almost made the cut today, but I lost out to Fannie Willis.